Welcome to Digression Bar 16. I'm Grant.
I'm Andrew.
So I finished Fallout 4, and I got 2 achievements left. It's just get level 50, and I need max happiness settlement. And I have stories from my settlement that I wanted to rant about. So
Your little tyrannical cinema.
yeah, there's a lot of things. I like having a story to it, and that's what I really liked about. I was doing survival mode originally on that character, and what I like about that mode is it makes a lot of stories. Like, I can tell you all these stories about how, like, I was telling you before, where I tried to go steal from the bat guy in Diamond City, and he, within 2 seconds of entering his house, he was awake and had decapitated me with a baseball bat. And he just...
Not just a baseball bat. A bladed baseball
But it was
bat.
just great, because I just, like, walk in, you see the screen fade in, you just hear, "Get out of my house!" And you just see my head flying. I'm like, what was that? Everyone else is like, "Hey, can you please leave?" It's like, cool, I just need your mini nukes. That's what everyone else was like that if they caught me. But no, he came out swinging.
Wait, they have mini nukes in Diamond City?
Arturo, whatever, the weapon dealer has 1 or 2.
In his house?
Yeah.
Do they respawn?
I think they'll restock.
Okay.
I don't think Diamond City restocks. I don't actually know.
Okay, I have a question for you. How many mini nukes do you think you've used in Fallout 4? Like, in a single playthrough?
10? It depends.
How many mini nukes do you have?
6.
Like, in reserve? I feel like I feel like I just hoard mini nukes and I never use them.
Well, what I like is I have, like, targets I can use them on. Like, that's what I like. Like, when I went to go kill Swan on this playthrough of the behemoth, I knew I'm going to do that. Plus, also, this is the playthrough I did the achievement to kill 5 of those behemoths. So that's 5 mini nukes.
Do they have to be unique or just 5?
Just 5. So that's why. But I use them all the time. But the main thing is also I used a whole bunch because I was doing the multiple endings. And once you get to the end, I knew it's like...
the fight.
Yeah. Like, I know I'm not going to need it anymore. And that was actually when I did my first playthrough, my ending with Brotherhood of Steel. It was actually really fun, like, going through all the quests, being like, okay, that's the last mini nuke. And I just dropped my fat man in some dungeon. It's like, bye. I know I'm going to finish the game tonight. I don't need this. Huh. Then, I was just going through. It's like, okay, that's my last SMG round. And by the end of it, I just had, like, a knife. And it was just like, yeah, go for it.
It's funny. It's fun running with... Liberty Prime, though.
Yeah. I'm glad they brought that back.
Like, throwing those nukes. He's just like...
Well, I remember that was such a huge moment in Fallout 3, was when they unveiled that, and because it's such a game changer, where like, you can't really affect the environment of the world at all, and all of a sudden you're going with this thing, and it's just like, bye, and he's like, not...
He doesn't throw mini nukes in 3, he just has laser vision, right?
He definitely throws at least one.
Okay.
Because I think that's part of the mission, is to get at least one mini nuke for him to throw at the Enclave or something.
Okay.
I want to say. I don't remember like anything about Fallout 3 as I'm learning from playing Fallout 4. But yeah. So playing survival mode is interesting because my stance on Fallout 4 is the fact that it's got a lot of good things. It's got a lot of bad things, but the biggest issue is like so many of their systems like conflict, where one is like, you should do this, and the other system's like, you shouldn't do this, and they just like fight each other. And that's what I don't like. So like that's the issue where like I had an example in my head of this, but I was talking to you, in survival mode you don't have fast travel, which is fine and kind of is fun, but they also have no alternatives whatsoever.
Right.
Like in Skyrim it works because you can get horses, and they also have the carriages to all the main cities. So,
which is a fast travel light.
Yeah. So, and that's what I was hoping for, is like, okay, yeah, I still have to walk to some random dungeon, but maybe let me build a helicopter pad from my main settlement to Brotherhood of Steel Airport or something like that. That's what I would like. Or give me a robot horse, something like that. But yeah, so like that's fun at first, but then it quickly becomes just like me just walking everywhere. But then that's too dangerous. So it literally got to the point where I would just like go back and forth between certain outposts that would restock by the time I get around, and I would just hoard everything. Or it just got down to the point where like, I think, what was it, Lexington, when you meet the Minutemen? Like, so for several hours of real time when I played it, it was just me going back and forth from like the Red Rocket truck stop, which was my first settlement, to there, just getting more loot. Like, none of the enemies respawn.
Wait, Red Rocket is your first settlement?
Well, it's the one I built. You get Sanctuary,
right,
but you can start Red Rocket right away.
Yeah.
Because it's on your way. When you meet Dogmeat, you can start
it's really small. It's kind of shitty.
Yeah, but I need somewhere to store my stuff, because you can't carry anything, and it was close. But yeah, it was just me walking forth, no enemies. It was just, because that was the best thing to do, was just to keep going and grab every single little pipe pistol, put it in the chest. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to take some water with me, fill up my empty bottles. It was neat, but it gets boring. And the game, I don't know, it just fights each other. I can't
Speaking of, I like the concept of the pipe weapons. Like, I never use them because they're shitty.
Yeah.
But I like the concept of them, like, people just trying to make guns without knowing really how to do it well. But they work, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess like that would be fairly like making a good gun, but also making it reliable. So that's why you got pipe, and it's got to fit this round that we have, and just kind of like make it work. So, but
like, I'm sure they, and then if they don't have rifling, then that reduces your accuracy and your muzzle velocity, I think. There's a lot of stuff.
But the main thing I liked about survival mode before I turned it off was just all these stories I had. Like I could tell you, like one of the big things was taking out the different areas around my settlement, like completing their objectives. Let's say. So like one, I took the Starlight in movie theater. That was my main one because that's where I was in my last game. Took that. That was the whole thing, killing the mole rats, because mole rats can one shot you, and that's a huge deal. So cleared that, and then it was like another week kind of passed. So I kind of built that up. It's like, okay, I need to go do the mini quest with over to like I think like the northwest where there's that diner and there's a trader in there, but she's being like
harassed by that one.
Those two like drug dealers.
Protection people.
Yeah, it's like the one. I think so. It's the one where like her son is like a druggie.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. And that was like a whole thing because they're like two raiders, and basically got down to it's like because you can only save when you sleep. I have one grenade. This is the one grenade I got. I need to kill both of them with this throw. And that's it. Otherwise, they're going to turn around and they're going to shoot me in the face and I'm going to die. And I know that because it happened a lot. So I finally got that. It's like, yes, now I have a merchant. That was a big deal. Or there's like a mole rat infestation. Like it's called like some kind of like landfill. That was a whole thing. And that was extremely deadly.
It's like a junkyard, right?
Yeah. And you go there and it's just like a whole bunch of mole rats. And it was just basically like it's not a settlement, so I couldn't build anything, I don't think. But I just tried to get like find somewhere where they couldn't get me by standing on like a barrel. And luckily there was like a survivor. It's like, go after him. But they'll like hide. So you have to like go out to get them to come up, and then you have to quickly like VATS and like hopefully shoot them. That was the whole thing. Or the big thing though.
Yes.
Was so you form opinions of all your settlers because you spend so much time with them, like walking everywhere and stuff.
He's like you mean you personally.
Yeah.
Like or dislike
me as a player, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So one of the things you do is, since it's hard to get settlers normally because you need a lot of resources, you'll go get like the free ones. So like I got like Sheffield, who is that dude in Diamond City you have to give a Nuka-Cola to.
Okay.
Who I already hate because in my last playthrough I made him a shopkeeper.
Is he one of the like the bum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made him a shopkeeper in my last playthrough, and every time I try to like shopkeep barter with him, he would tell me like 3 dialogues before he would let me talk to him. And I'm like, God damn it, Sheffield, I hate you. But I need him. So I brought him over. It's like, well, guess what? I hate you. So I'm going to make you a trading caravan. Whatever you know, like the supply lines. Back to, I think it was, I sent him like really far away because I thought it would be funny. So I sent him, I think, to that island over way in the southeast.
How does he
that
cross?
Or the castle.
How does he cross?
I think I don't know. I think they just swim. I don't actually know. I never followed him. But,
the Brahmin too?
Yeah, I guess they just get a Brahmin. I guess it swims. Which that's a whole other thing about my settlement. For some reason, I guess there's a spawn point for a horde of Brahmin. But that's my thing. And they always come sprinting in. They just run through.
Yes. And
it's like, what the
It's like a stampede of Brahmin.
So that's a thing that happens. Luckily, that at that same spawn point, which is like where you fast travel to that point, all the encounters and attacks also spawn there. So I just have a turret trap. That's something I learned. So I literally have all my turrets face one single point, and stuff like I'll watch it like, hey, a Deathclaw, and it just immediately get lit up. It was great. Or I know there's a bunch of sellers that are really good. Like I had Nick. He was a shopkeeper. He was pretty cool. He's hanging out in my settlement. Which
one's Nick again?
Nick Valentine.
Oh,
the synth. You'll get. I got like I think like Deacon. You know, you get all the free ones. And everyone else is just unnamed, but you kind of get attached. Even though I think they get randomized. Like, I feel like the settlers aren't the same settlers. It just randomly makes a person every time you load in. Do you know?
I don't know.
But there's certain ones I like. Like, I totally judge people by, like, their appearance. Like, I hate settlers who show up and, like, look like shit. Like what is this? I will get you better clothes. What are you wearing?
Like wearing a potato sack.
But my main gripe is it was kind of, like, glitchy. Like, I lost a suit of power armor. And I thought it, like, had fallen through the floor. Because I like, fast traveled away and fast traveled back. And it just wasn't on the rack.
This is not your survival?
Yeah, this is after I turned survival off.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it just got annoying because that basically just became me walking back and forth between settlements. Because you can't actually unlock the perk for supply lines until level 14 and I think 6 charisma, which is a huge deal to get to that point. Like the first 5 levels of survival are ridiculously brutal, and then it just gets monotonous. But that happened, so I had to go find a whole nother set of power armor. That was a thing to go get that set of power armor. Got that. Come back.
How many sets of power armor have you acquired?
Right now I only have 2. Because I never really bring back. I have 1 that I use. That's my perfect one. And then that one got weird.
Is it your final form?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's got like the stealth and all that. And then I brought that one back, and then somehow I accidentally, I guess, like I lost the arm, the right arm, and I think, oh, I must have sold it. I didn't find that. I guess I probably got unequipped and I sold it to a merchant. So that's a thing.
Or broke?
Yeah, like broke. So like I unequipped it, and I probably sold everything unequipped.
Okay.
So that was a thing. I definitely got attacked by a Deathclaw early on. Killed a bunch of my settlers. That was the thing. And then I went to go do the castle with the Minutemen. Walked to there, and I saw someone. I saw Sheffield, and he comes to me, thank you for this opportunity. And he's wearing power armor with a different right arm. And the reason I couldn't find it was because he's a merchant, and he left with it. And I ran him in like the middle of the fucking wasteland. He's like, hey, man, what's up? I mini nuked him. I saved, reloaded, did it again, and then I had to like pickpocket the freaking thing out of him so he'd get out of it and then get my armor back. But I was already wearing other armor, so it was a whole thing. It's like fast travel, put my normal armor back, go get the extra armor I now have, go put that back.
Where did he find his set of power armor?
It was the one from my base. He stole it.
Oh, he stole the entire thing.
Yeah, because I guess it can't steal it if you put it in the rack. But if you don't put it in the rack, he got in it during an attack, and then he left on his supply line. That's why I can never find it, because a settler had it, but he was walking to that fucking island. I was so pissed. Jamie was here, where I was like, that's him! He has more! It was a huge thing.
Fucking cunt.
Yeah, but that's what I liked about like survival mode and just getting really involved was like those little stories where it's like I have a thing with him. Like I think right now I sentenced him to like a freaking island somewhere. He's like, you live here now, do not leave. And I think I even built like a cage. It's been like a whole thing. It's like, I hate you, Sheffield. I hate you.
He's the cola guy.
Yeah, he's the cola guy.
We had a long build up to this.
Yeah, well, that was a big thing because it's like, one, I already disliked him. That's why I sent him on the caravan. That was the important detail. And the fact that I didn't see him near my settlement. I saw him on my way to the castle. And that's why I was already carrying like my other power armor and all my stuff. And it was like, I was livid. I was livid. So,
I think I've seen people with power armor in my settlement, but they've never run away. I think they just get out of it after fighting for so long.
see, I think that was what was weird is because he was the supply line, he just left.
And
Like,
wouldn't get,
yeah.
like, idle to
Yeah,
take it off.
that's the main thing is like, they'll probably wear it until they have to do like a shift change. Like they go from like their working shift to relaxing to like bed. They have like those different day changes.
Because
And they
you
probably
can't lay down in the
Yeah,
armor.
they probably would do that. But he didn't because he just walks back and forth all day. Or something, I don't know. I'm just mad because
He's just drinking that cola and staying awake.
Yeah. So,
But I wanted to... Do you know why it's clever that they're called the Minutemen?
I assumed it's because it's a reference to the Revolutionary War Minutemen.
Yes, but it's more than that.
Okay.
It's a double reference. That's back to the first reference too. So it's like referencing the same thing twice,
okay.
kind of. So like they had like the muskets, or, like guns, like they're wearing very like colonial-esque equipment. But the name of the group of operatives that are on standby to launch the United States nuclear arsenal are called Minutemen.
I did not know that. It's clever.
Yeah.
Little. Is that a history? History lesson. Current lesson.
I don't know if they're still called Minutemen. 'Cause I don't know if it's the same thing or like if it's the same system, but that's definitely what it used to be.
They changed it after none of them could get like a girlfriend. So what's your job? Oh, I'm a Minuteman. Bye. But so I'm enjoying it. It's just like I said, like
But what do you mean? Aren't it 60 Minutemen?
I guess you could make that. Yeah.
Like that's a song in the game.
I don't listen to the radio.
There's a lot like the Wander one is a good song, with like Rocket 69. That's another one. That's a good one.
I used to listen to the radio a lot, but now it's like a lot of times when I would listen to the radio in Fallout 3, now I just listen to like my own stuff, like a podcast or something. So,
but he said 60-minute man, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of the song. Okay.
So, but yeah, I feel like there's so much of Fallout that just like fights itself. Like, I feel like the writing in Fallout is so good, but it's so easy to miss big parts of the plot or details or just the world. Like, even in my own settlement that I've had the entire game, I'm constantly finding like there's a Nuka-Cola Quantum in this corner.
Oh, you mean in the drive-in theater?
Yeah, in any settlement, or in any location you visit a lot, it's just so easy to miss critical things. Or like I'll go back and like play a mission I've obviously done before, and it's like I didn't know that there was like a treasure chest here or this person here. And it's just like, I don't know, it's weird. It feels like I go through the game with like blinders on, or a lot of games feels like kind of like clunky and awkward. Like I constantly swap between third person view and first person, because first person it's like the guns are too big, I feel like, for the screen, or I guess I really want to just like expand my FOV, because it feels like every sight sucks for me other than the basic sights, because yeah, you get the little dot, but then you get this massive scope on it that's annoying. Or you can get the actual like sighted scopes, but then every time you fire it's annoying because you got to sight in, and that's annoying. But then if you go into third person, it's not quite as accurate because that dots doesn't quite line up with your scope, because technically you're firing from like the left of the screen because you're in third person, and that can really fuck you sometimes, like with the Fat Man or your frag grenades.
Or kind of like in Destiny when you're fucking shadow shot.
Yeah, so it just feels like awkward where like neither mode feels like good to play in sometimes, and I'm constantly have to like bounce back and forth between them. Or I feel like I want to upgrade, but sometimes it doesn't work ideally. Or like sometimes I just feel like the base stuff is better than the upgrades. Or some weapons I want to upgrade don't have any upgrades, but then stuff like the pipe pistols have hundreds of upgrades, but I would never use a pipe weapon. And just like awkward, like, or like I said, like, if like the settlements are a huge part of the game, but you can't do the main settlement perks, there's 2 of them, unless you have 6 charisma and you're level 14. Level 14 is fine, but that 6 charisma sucked because I had like a level 2 charisma character when I started. So it's like, oh, if I wanted to do any settlement worth anything, I need to just take charisma for the next 4 levels.
Well, the thing, I understand why that's a problem for people that don't go charisma, but every time I've played Fallout, charisma is one of my main stats. I go for it just because I like being able to
I think
convince people to do stuff.
I'm okay with that on my like later run throughs, knowing kind of what to game. Like I know you could still get by if you want to convince stuff. It's annoying that I didn't know that till I was like hours in. That's like, man, I picked some bad stats for what the game is essentially built around. So it's like, hey, here's all this awesome system, but if you didn't take that perk and those stats, you don't get to have fun. And I'd be fine if it was like better versions of everything, but like if you don't have that, you can't build any of the workshop stuff. So like if your settlement doesn't have like a armor workbench, you can't make one, and that's just like, well, that sucks. And that's why I said like, they just clash. Where it's like, oh, we have all these settlements, but you have to do it this very specific way, or else.
I think that was the thing, that certain settlements have certain things already in them, so you can decide if you want to have a settlement based on that.
Which I think it feels like a system, right? Like that should be a thing, but I don't think that comes up. Like you never make the decision like, oh, I want to go out and have that one, or it limits you really heavily. That came up in my survival run through. It's like, which settlement do you want to make your main settlement? Because Sanctuary is awesome and already has everything, but without fast travel, Sanctuary is in the top left of the map. It's super inconvenient. Not that it's hard because you're in like the level 1 area. It's just you got to walk back there every single time, and it's just like, again, it's like it just clashes. Like System A says do this, System B says don't. Like for example, I never use until later any of like the chems because getting addicted sucks. And not that like getting unaddicted is expensive, but finding those items is just rare. And the other choice is to constantly just go back to Doctors in Diamond City, and it's like, well,
but you have to walk.
Yeah. And it sucks. Where it's like, oh, I really want to use this, but it's like so just inconvenient, so I'm just going to not use that mechanic at all. Even though now that I'm high level, like, that's super fun. I have like 60 jet. I have it on the down. Fucking just jet every day. Jet. Addicted. I'll deal with it after the fight.
I forgot. There's a drug you can use that mitigates the withdrawal symptoms, right?
There's a Dictol, which gets rid of it, and then you get refreshing beverage if you cook it at the cooking stations, and that cures all your rads, fully heals you, and gets rid of your addiction. And it's like super easy to make too.
I remember like that was a great one that I made all the fucking time. Like you need tubes, like or I don't remember, like tubes, water bottles. I think
you need like one of every healing item for refreshing. I think where it's like you need Nuka-Cola, an IV bag. I want to Stim pack. It's like all of those you could combine into a refreshing beverage.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I used way more in my survival is the cooking station. I never used it in my first one, and then on the second one, it's like you need.
The survival station is good. Like in Fallout New Vegas, actually, the survival station was a big deal. So I kind of just remembered stuff from that, especially because I used that a lot because I played the hardcore mode in Fallout New Vegas, and that was a big deal. Getting that food.
Yeah. I originally intended to do the whole playthrough, it's like survival, just to make it more interesting. Just got too tedious. Where it got to the point where like I have everything like solved. It's just extra annoying to go through it. Like there was no progression, I think, and that was the thing I didn't like. Whereas like you ideally want to eventually like solve a problem where it's like, oh, now I've unlocked better fast travel, like I don't know, a mount or something. So now it's not as tedious. But there's no path like that. Or like some of the quests are just really annoying. Where like I said to you, like if you do survival, you kind of want to do the low-level Preston quests, but he's constantly like over in Sanctuary, and then he tells you to go way across over here, and then you got to go way back.
Can't you send him somewhere other than Sanctuary?
You can, or you can take him with you, but he's also not necessarily the best companion.
Right, but I mean, like, you send him to a better place.
You can, but the point is he's constantly just sending you to random points on the map.
Yeah.
And that's what's annoying. And you can technically exploit that, but the more you played it, it was just obviously me fighting the game mechanics, not playing the game. So stuff like, well, I gotta just wait in Diamond City for 2 days so I can sell all my stuff because I'm not gonna walk back here. So that was a whole thing. Or just like being dumb, finding dumb ways to kill stuff. Like I found out like you can, once you get to the synth grenades, that you like throw them down and summons the synth from the Institute.
I don't think I ever really, like I think I like played with them a couple times where I just throw them down, but I don't think I ever actually used them.
I used them once when I was escorting Liberty Prime. I threw them all at Liberty Prime so he could just nuke them.
Why?
Because it was funny.
Oh, okay.
And at that point, I am against the Institute, so the synths attack me when I throw it, so it's irrelevant. So I just like grenade, and Liberty Prime just stomps them and stuff. But the other times I realized that it literally just spawns a thing, whatever, the synth, but it doesn't count as your synth, so you could throw it literally anywhere and you get no blame for it. So all the time I'd be like, someone here needs to die, synths. And that was how I would get like supplies sometimes. It's like, God, I think
like you loot the people that they killed. Also, you could loot the synths that died.
So you go into like the jail of Diamond City and just like throw down like 6 of them, and like pick up from the guards.
What is your opinion on synths?
I think they could have been presented better in the game because I think one thing that they don't clear up is that the Generation 3 synths are basically human. Like when I first played through it, I got the impression that they were just they had like artificial flesh, and then they were like a machine on the inside, and that's not true. And I don't think
they talk about that numerous times.
I don't think it's presented as well. I thought they were something more like Nick Valentine. They just had better like outside.
No, I was just saying like if you do stuff with the railroad and Curie, you definitely know that. Or even
I know it came up
even
later.
Piper talks about their synths that are very like you can't tell that they're human or they're not human by just cutting them open. You would have to do like DNA analysis.
You need to cut into their brain because that's the one thing they have that's
they have a chip in their head. I think.
But then you kill the person. So
not necessarily because I think the no because the a big deal about that is that they would capture the bodies of the Gen 3 synths and transfer liberated synths into those bodies to disguise them from the Institute. And that's why you can get Curie
into one,
bodies because it was originally intended for the Buzz
Glory's
cut.
sister.
No,
Or Glory.
girlfriend.
Girlfriend, no. I haven't done
It
that
was
quest yet.
it was supposed to be for her, but the system failed, and it killed her synth lover. So there was no one to take the body then after that. So it's basically you can just convince her. It's like, yeah, his body's just laying here. I know you kind of wanted this for your girl, but she's not around anymore.
Awkward. But I don't know. I think it was overall an interesting
So what? I guess like, who did you side with? Like,
if I had to, I would probably go with the Institute. But originally, I like... It's like one of those things where if you really think the Institute could remake the world, you'd go with them. But I think technically, not knowing that in my first playthrough where I didn't go with them at all, I side with the Brotherhood of Steel. I don't think the Railroad should be on the same level. I don't...
See,
Because I think it's like, do you choose Institute or Brotherhood? And then technically you can choose Railroad, and they have that as an option. But I feel like
the Railroad is the most ethical. But I don't feel like they're the most qualified.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it should have worked. Like, I think they did that because people like New Vegas, and that's why they have you kill all the other factions. Like, for example, I don't understand quite why the Brotherhood cares so much about you killing the Railroad. Like, I get why they deal with it eventually, but it just seemed like...
Well, because their big thing is they feel like the Institute's bad because it creates synths, but they believe, I think the Brotherhood's whole thing is they fear synths beyond everything else.
Yeah, they want to get rid of them. It just seemed really out of place that everyone cared about the Railroad as much as they did.
Well, because I think the Institute didn't like the Railroad because they kept on, quote unquote, stealing their property. And the Brotherhood didn't like the Institute because they were making them machines. But I think the Brotherhood actually thought the Railroads were more dangerous because they were better at hiding the existence of synths. And they feared, what's worse than of the army of obviously synthetic beings are the ones that you don't know about.
I just didn't feel like the ending was on the same level. The Brotherhood of Steel, it's like where you escort Liberty Prime and you fight the Institute and you blow it up. That's all awesome.
Yeah.
And the Institute, same thing on the other way. And then the Railroad was like... It felt like the semi-joke ending.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of goofy and weird. And the Minutemen, it's like... Well, it's better than that even.
And again, I felt like it was kind of insulting. I felt like it was a very big step back. Because in Fallout New Vegas, there were a huge number of ways you could side with and have the battle go. Because you could decide to work with House against everyone. You could usurp from House and take control yourself. You could side with the NCR against a spread of people. You could side with the Legion against a wide spread of people. You could side with the NCR with the help of one group or two groups or three groups or four groups against the Legion, other way around. I felt like it was fun trying to go see okay, who can you make work together for the final fight? And in this was nope, you choose one and that's it.
Yeah, I felt like they did because of New Vegas, but it wasn't on the same level at all.
Well, no, I feel like it's literally the opposite of New Vegas. So I don't understand why. It's
that's the thing is I feel like it was forced that you had to pick one and then you had to get rid of everything else. There was no gray area where it's well, I'm aligned with this. I'm 60% with this faction. I'm 20% with this faction, and I gotta kill that one. It was a little bit more you could, I don't know, like a diagram where you have different points.
Venn diagram.
No, I'm trying to think what it is. Where it's you have a pentagon, and you have different points on each axis.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like that kind of chart is what I picture it as, and you just have to find one that kind of works to beat the game. Whereas this felt do you want A, B, C, or D? And I felt like they elevated the Railroad to be more, so you had more options. And the Minutemen's unique because they're kind of the default and they work differently. So, yeah. I haven't done the Minutemen ending with that. I know they have a couple interesting things, but in the same way, it feels like force. I don't understand how if you do the Minutemen, apparently Sturgis builds that giant machine, and I don't see that happening.
Which one Sturgis?
He's the dude in Sanctuary that tells you how to build your first settlement. And he's just a mechanic. but it just doesn't seem to fit. Versus what Proctor Ingram or whatever in the Brotherhood of Steel with this other scientist that built Liberty Prime, they're building it. Speaking of which, one of the things, like I said about how not noticing things, I didn't notice like until late in the game that Proctor Ingram, the head engineer, doesn't have legs, and that's why she's in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just feel like that should be more obvious.
Well, you can look at it and you can see her legs are definitely robotic.
And I feel like that should be more obvious in her character model. I feel like there's just so much clutter that I didn't notice it for a long time until I sat and like, okay, I'm going to look at things.
In fact, the Proctor, that chick, is played by King Arthur from Fate Zero.
That's
and
cool.
a lot of other stuff, but that's the one I know you would know.
So yeah, I'm just glad to kind of get done with Fallout. Like, I'm enjoying my experience. I'm going to go through all the quests, but I think like with any Bethesda game, it's exactly kind of what I expected. Where like there's a lot of really cool stuff, there's a lot of really kind of shitty stuff. They fight each other. There's a lot of padding, but the writing's really good. The world's good. I just don't like overall. I don't particularly like the combat, and when I do get to do combat, it's not a lot. Like some of the questions, are like you fought 2 mole rats, like cool. Like when I was playing it the first time when Jamie was over here, I was literally, it's like, I haven't killed anything in 3 hours. I need to go. I'm going to go kill some diamond security guards just because like I need to do something other than just like dialogue trees for the last 3 hours. But then like the one thing I don't know how I feel about is the fact that I was talking to you before. They love doing like switch ups in like individual missions. So like I'll go in thinking this is like a stealth mission, but then I'll be like, I gotcha. You didn't bring your fat man. Surprise, Deathclaw. But it'll go the other way where it's like, this is like a looting mission. You're going to an assembly plant. Oh, you brought your fat man? Sucks to be you. Now you can't carry any loot. And it's just like, I wish it was more centered. Or like, I don't know. It's just annoying where I feel like I carry everything every time. But then the settlement things, like you need to loot everything every time. And it's annoying. They fight each other. I wish, I don't know. Like some of the most fun I had was when I stopped caring about loot and like enemies. And I was just like the best thing I did was I turned the difficulty all the way down to very easy. That made the game so much more fun to me, where I wasn't worrying about bullshit. I still can worry about bullshit a little bit, but because it's annoying. There's annoying things in that game.
For me, my playing, like a lot of it for me was like just trying to find all the unique items. Or like oh shit, there's a legendary thing over there. I want to kill it. What does it have? And there'd be those moments where like he's got a fucking legendary pipe pistol.
Yeah,
I meant to make the noise. I didn't make it. It's like really? That's all I had? Disappointed.
Well, like I'm like level 49 now, and you were watching me play earlier, and it's like I go kill like this legendary ghoul. So what do you have? He has like a legendary pipe.
Yeah.
Like a melee weapon. It's like, I don't care. It's like, why would you ever drop this? But I guess it's fun because it's random.
Did you get the alien pistol?
Not yet. It's on my list of things to do. But I think the thing I miss going from Oblivion to Fallout 3, one thing I liked about Fallout 3's map was it felt very condensed, and each like location was very interesting to go to.
3?
In 3.
Okay.
And I feel like there's a little bit too much in 4, where they kind of have good stories, but there's almost like too much to actually go to everyone.
I feel like
a
lot of it is super dense. Like I think 3 has about the same number of places, but it's spread out more, so it's not overwhelming.
I could see that. Because it definitely is dense the further you go into the city. But the main thing is,
I think 3 or Fallout 4 is like less than half of the volume or like length of the Fallout 3 map. It's just way dense, more densely populated.
I think that's true, because like if you're up by Sanctuary, for example, there's nothing up there. It's like just one thing. But then you get into like Boston, it's just like
everything.
Yeah. But I guess like one of the things I really liked about Fallout 3 was I got the Explorer perk, which shows everything on your map, and you can just go check them all off. And that was a lot of fun. And that's why I don't like the restocking dungeons, is because it makes it very hard to track, like, have I actually been there before? Because I might have walked by it, but there's no way to know if you ever cleared it before. Or like it kind of sucks when you go the other way, where it's like, oh, I just want to run a dungeon, I clear it, and then it's like, let's go there for a quest. And then everything's awkwardly dead already. So you walk all the way to the boss, and it's like, oh, how'd you make it past my men? It's like, yeah. And that's what I think. It's just like these conflicting systems, and that's what I dislike about the game.
One thing I kind of liked in it, I think, is there are certain like unique enemies that are in the world that aren't necessarily like terribly hard, but they're just literally unique. And there's kind of a little story behind it, but unless you're like paying attention, you would have no idea. Like there's this one like priest at this in this church with all these other ghouls that he just like out of the blue just attacks you. And like there's a story there. But it's just like he's just a unique guy and goes and fucking tries to fuck your day.
Which I like that stuff. It just feels like it's almost overwhelming. Or my main issue is like I like being able to do a quest and having the full experience, and then I start the next one. Not I start a quest and then you get dragged into a new map with its own sub storyline, and then you pass stuff on the way there, which is trying to start other quests. It's like I want to have just this, focus on this, absorb it all, and then do the next one. And that's what I feel like is like, it just feels like there's too much at once, even though I individually like all the stories. Because I definitely got to the point where it's like, I know there's stuff in that safe. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to bother locking it. So, yeah. In other news, we can talk about quickly. We're watching a bunch of movies with Jamie. We watched the Kingsman series. That is really good. I really like that.
Those are good.
I love those. Those are
Wait,
great.
you saw the second one?
Yeah. We rented it last week. The Golden Circle.
I didn't know it was on the
We got it at Redbox over at Heavy Baker's. So
Okay.
recommend that. Really good movie. Enjoyed it. I like their how they filmed it,
Real-
on the effects, and how they wrote it.
the real MVP. You didn't see coming, did you?
The end?
The real MVP. Elton John.
Oh, and the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt that was a little bit too forced for having Elton John, but okay, it was whatever.
I think I don't think it was forced. I think they did it just for like, this is stupid and you didn't expect it.
I think they did it partially for star power, partially because it's funny.
Yeah.
Because he's actually in a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not just like one-off joke. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't know it was out yet. Oh, you saw it in the theater.
I saw it in theaters. I didn't realize
Okay.
it was on Bring It.
So yeah.
Home
Otherwise, I just finished Death Note for the first time. That was interesting. I have opinions.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like I feel like a 6 out of 10 about it. I don't know. Like I'm glad I watched it because I feel like it's a big touch note for a lot of people my age that they watch it when they're younger. But overall, I'm not like, oh my god, it's so good. But it's a neat premise. I enjoyed it. I feel like it went on too long. I didn't like after.
Elle died.
Yeah. I don't know. Can I spoil it? I don't even know how old Death Note is.
Years old.
Yeah, so after Elle dies, it's like, but I finally finished it. Now we're going to start. Right now, tonight we're watching Death Parade. That's the name of it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the idea. And then otherwise, other stuff I'm doing is I'm on PTO. I've been working on my website, but nothing fun to report yet. I can make it do different things when I hit a button. Fancy.
Fancy.
Yeah. I learned.
What does it do?
It just says different text things based off a button you press.
Okay.
Which isn't much, but the fancy thing is it will call different controllers when you press different buttons, and I can assign like permissions.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's fancy. That's complicated. So I'm a ways until I rebuild my entire site, but it's coming slowly.
Are you going to build it better, faster than the Rooster Teeth website?
Ideally. Well, the thing is, like, I can do my own priorities, but the downside is I'm gonna have to build a lot of back end too, and that's why here's the worst part about building your own like CMS. Essentially, is not building features for your website, but you get stuck like I have to write a password reset function, and that might take 3 weeks. But you need it, but that's not like a feature you think of as like selling your website. So that's what's gonna take forever. Otherwise, also for the channel, I'm playing Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which is a game I really love.
Soul Reaver?
Yeah, Reaver, which is a spinoff of the Blood Omen series, kind of. It's got a weird hierarchy, but I'm playing it and it's fun. You can get it on like Google Games for like super cheap. It's a really good game, and it just died and went under everyone's radar after that. So
they're not going to make another one?
Square bought the rights to it, and they made some like shitty third-person class shooter out of it. It's called Nosgoth. It came out like 4 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, it's super weird. They bought it, and they basically made this weird TF2 clone. And then it died, and they stopped. Yeah, I'm serious. It's really weird. It's like I
feel like Square just does a lot of weird stuff.
It makes no sense. Yeah, it's like imagine someone bought Legend of Zelda, and then they made a TF2 out of it. That's basically what happened. Like, it makes no sense. Like, the narrative that they did kind of work. I kind of get it, but also it's like you could do that. You could make a generic thing that fits. I don't know. And they had made like no real reference to the actual games other than the name of the world being the same. Mm-hmm. And then I guess they also made an attempt because Legacy of Kain that company that made that studio became the studio that makes the Tomb Raider games. And then they made the Tomb Raider reboot, and they're trying to use that same engine to make a new Legacy of Kain game, but that never got out of like very early demos. Like they made one level as a concept, like Legacy of Kain, Blood Sun or something. There's like you can see like a 10-minute video they released randomly as a tech demo, and then that never surfaced past that. So much though the only thing that else is there's a fan game that is supposed to be interesting. I don't know. It has a really good world, although I think some of the combat's stupid. No, it's the puzzle, but that game is fucking block puzzles. The game, the first one is. It's like super dumb, where it's like that. Like 90% of the puzzles in that game is you have to like put puzzles in a block, but no, put blocks in like a puzzle so the picture lines up. But the blocks are like several times the size of your character, and so you have to like manually flip them in a very arduous process. Or like sometimes like this goes over there, and then you're like, oh, it doesn't go over there. Guess I gotta spend 2 minutes dragging it back to the other side of the room. And it's just like, why? But otherwise, it's fun. I really like the characters in that, and the world's really good. And, yeah. I spent like a while just gushing about it when I first episode. Like, let me tell you about the story of how I learned of this awesome game. And it's fun. It's been fun. I really enjoy playing it. It's weird because it's such a hassle to like get the setup going and playing it. Once I do, it's like I don't want to stop. I have to. I only play it for 4 hours. But I really love that game. I really would love like even just like an HD remaster because it has like really awesome character design, but it's like PS1 graphics, so you don't see them at all. Or you kind of do, but it's not good. Especially because like they have this amazing cutscene in the intro, and then it immediately snaps to, like shitty graphics, and it's like, oh, like
very jarring.
Yeah, like you go to like Kain is like all awesomely animated, and he's got all these details where like everything on his like in his like model costume is like meaningful to his backstory, and then it snaps to his face is just a single tile that's like vaguely square. It's like, oh, that's not good. But the Soul Reaver 2 is better from then on. So. And we don't talk about the Blood Omen games. They're weird. So, I can gush about this. No, so you must know. I gotta explain. So there was a game called Blood Omen. Legacy of Kain Blood Omen. And that's the main series. And then they made a spin-off called Soul Reaver. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. And then they would alternate. So it was Blood Omen, Soul Reaver, Blood Omen, Soul Reaver, and then they combined them for their last game in Defiance. But it ended up being like Soul Reaver, even though it's a spin-off, that's actually the main story of the series now. And then Blood Omen's actually just like backstory. Like the first Blood Omen is like a top-down, like NES hack and slash, and then you go to Soul Reaver, which is awesome, and then Blood Omen 2 is like weird and doesn't really matter to the story and has huge glaring plot holes, and it doesn't quite make sense. And then Soul Reaver 2 is like really good, and Defiance is really good. And it's just Blood Omen's fucking weird.
Okay,
you should play it. You can get them for like the whole trilogy for like $10. I've never played Blood Omen 1 or 2 though, so I can't talk about that. I just know it's weird. Because it's like, you get to play as Kain, but before he was like the interesting character he was. So it makes no sense. It's weird. It's so good. I draw a lot of inspiration for D&D from the Legacy of Kain series, because it's just really, really well written. Play it. We need to wrap up so we can eat our pizza that's sitting over there.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say we're at 46 minutes.
Sorry, I got more about Fallout. I got animated by yelling about Sheffield.
Yes.
And he's the only reason, like dude who I know the name of. It's like, freaking Sheffield.
Fucking cunt.
Freaking cunt. And the thing is, like, I don't want to actually like kill him, because then no matter where.
Well, except when you nuked him twice.
Well, yeah, but I had to reload it. Because the problem is I can't nuke him because he was in my power armor. I would blow it up, and I couldn't afford to fix it at that point. It just like it was such a rabbit hole. Like, oh my god. But anyway,
why don't you just like blow his head off
and ruin the helmet?
Well,
the main thing is,
well, I didn't know if it was like completely put together.
People still seem to know that I betrayed the settler, though. Like, I think it's possible to send them somewhere that you can like freely kill them. Like if you send them to a basically a murder settlement where it's just them, like where you don't let any other settlers be, and it's like way off. I think it's possible, but he was not worth the effort. I got my armor back. I saved the castle. That was my mission. So after all that bullshit, we're done.
Saved the castle.
Well, yeah, I was on my way to like free the castle from the sea monster or whatever, and you fight that Mirelurk queen.
Yeah.
Who's a bitch.
Yeah. It's gushing poisonous liquid it shoots at you.
Yeah. That's a hard one. Use a mini nuke on it. It's like awkward because a mini nuke does like 65% of its health, where it's like I don't want to do another mini nuke, but it's also like eating up all my other ammo.
Yeah.
So I could talk for a while because there's been a lot of stories that have come from how I play Fallout. Like my settlement, I have so many fun stories. Like my favorite thing is I keep all my settlers in one room, and
inside the bar or
inside the movie theater settlement.
Right. I mean, like, is it in the static building?
No, I built one.
Okay.
And I built my house on top of it, and I have an open square with a hole in it, and above that's my bathroom, so I shit down into them. And then above the door, I put tools because they're my tools. I also put a speaker in their bedroom that just constantly blares a single note, and then they weren't happy. So at the top of the 40-foot screen, I put a single basketball hoop because I knew they couldn't do anything with it. And I also locked a Brahmin in there with them because I thought it'd be funny.
So how do they eat and drink?
They don't actually have to eat and drink. You just have to have food for them. And then I think I finally got them a real thing because now I'm trying to get the achievement to make the happiest settlement. And I had to remove all that stuff. But I still have the basketball hoop. That's what I love. I love the idea. It's like, oh, you guys aren't having fun? Oh, let me get a basketball hoop for you guys. So I have one there and I have one next to my shop, but that one's like 2 inches off the ground. I just find it so funny. Or also above my toilet, I have a picture of a hot dog because I thought that was really funny.
I didn't know you could have pictures of hot dogs.
Yeah, it's like I guess some painting advertising like a hot dog salesman.
Oh,
and I have it, so I put it over that. And then the rest of the bathroom is lined with cute cat photos. I actually really like the whole settlement thing because I like again like little stories. Like there's a reason for all the locations of things in my house. I even have like a plank where sometimes I'll like push settlers off of. They don't die from the fall damage, but I love the image in my head where I'm like freaking like Hancock, like freaking hating my settlers. Walk the plank, like walk off, and they fall 3 stories, and then they're still living and they go back to work. But I love the idea so much.
You're a dick.
There's a lot of weird things. I don't think we talked about on the podcast. But I cut off people's heads and I put it in like the robot noodle soup. I did that, or I would shoot off people's skulls using the junk cannon, using other skulls. That was fun.
You're psychotic.
There are some psychotic things I would do in my own settlements.
Like shitting on all your people in a room with a Brahmin. And
yeah. Well, the thing is, you can't actually do that in game. But where else is my toilet gonna go? But straight down.
Or you made a note or a speaker that just played one note.
Yeah. Just and then
it's constantly like like it doesn't stop. It's constant.
It's just and you can change the pitch. And I made it the highest possible pitch, and I got annoyed because I turned the sound on to show Jamie something. Like, what is that noise? I'm like, oh, I added that to be annoying. And then I was like, well, it's still funny. So far, funniest things in settlement are toilets. I also have one in the drinking water supply, and I also have one at the top of the theater because I imagine my guy goes up there or chick now uses it and just like looks down on all those peasants or her peasants. So much fun. I love the context in that. Or like I said before, I would go to Diamond City to make money. I'd kill all the guards, and I would sell 8 bloody like guard armors to the gunsmith. Like, yes, have a nice day, sir. And she's like. It was
I just killed all those guards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I always go to, when I need money, I go to Good Neighbor, and I steal Cleo's mini nuke and Fat Man, and I sell her the Fat Man and buy another mini nuke. That's why I have a bunch. And then I got the Fat Man that fires 2 at once. But it's like a free one. No, it's called like Big Boy. It's sold by the gunsmith.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. I was like, that's stupid. Why would I want to fire 2? Or even like the Merv, unless I'm on high difficulty and I like Behemoth. But the fact that it's a free mini, it's like, yeah.
It's not like you're firing 2. You're firing 2 for the price of 1.
I would fuck around a lot. I'd also go to the Fridwin, that giant ship, and I would jump off and I'd fire a mini nuke at the ground. And you just see me fall, break my legs, and then mini nuke hits in slow motion. So much fun.
Would you fire it down or fire it up?
Either.
Because if you fired it down, it wouldn't make sense if you were to beat it.
You actually do beat it, I think.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
I think it fires at a steady rate. It flies, but you accelerate.
So it doesn't accelerate.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You're subject to acceleration due to the gravity, but it's not.
The other thing, I would also go to the Pridwin, like the very tip front, and I took the perk for like targeting bats from like longer range away, and I would critically shoot like really far away targets, and just and you see it flying for like half a minute, and then it just like hits some dude in the skull, and it blows up. And it's so funny. Or like when Hancock's giving his speech when you first go to Good Neighbor, and there's like 16 people there. Oh, quick saving. That's the real reason I always carry on my Fat Man. So yes, I've used a lot of Munich, but we're at time. So I need to get this done. So I'm Grant.
Ender.
I need to go play more Fallout so I can kill my settlers. I'm going to go kill Sheffield after this. After you leave.
You're a dick.
Sheffield is a dick.
Deserved it, but
he deserved it. I should put him in a cage in my main settlement, but make him like an offering. So when he gets attacked, he can die. Like I told you before, like the other psychopath thing I did was whenever I get mad, I would just kill Deacon. When I was in the road quest,
well, not kill.
If you kill them in one hit, they don't get mad at you.
Yeah.
So I would just pelt Deacon anytime I got mad with my freaking like super sledge, and he'd be like, "Oh God, I'm dying," and it's like, "Come on, let's go," and he'd just be like simple stuff like, "You're my wife." So anyway, this is Digression Bar 16. We'll be back in 2 weeks. See you then.